this block, and I've moved it around so many times as far as what is a best way to, if you would have moved over.
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay.
Here. Thank you.
If this would be a good, does that look, that, no, baby. And then I moved it down here, and that's not bad. And I know what I like to see. I just don't know to put into words why that works or does not work. So I'm going to talk a lot tonight, or some about information that comes in this book. If you haven't gotten it, this is really an excellent book. One of the ladies said today that she said it's here as far as the information, and just if you can hang in there with it, she really has given you a lot of good information. One of the things that she has done is when she breaks down the colors, she's already telling you what goes with what to make a good, nice, prominent block. So, and what I saw today, as far as what everybody's doing, it's really quite phenomenal. It's quite fun. And look at what everybody's doing online. Gives you some ideas on some of the blocks. So the reason why this one doesn't seem to work, if I put it down here, it's going to get weird. And why it does what it does, it gets weird if you do it that way. So, but why? I think this one doesn't have a lot of texture to it, a lot of movement. It kind of just, it's kind of one of those quiet ones. So last year when we did Quilt Society, I brought this quilt for Anna Rose to give me good critique. I know I missed the mark on this quilt. I really did. And I needed to have her tell me, so I brought it, showed it to the group, and I said, I know it didn't work well. I don't know why it didn't work well. And the reason it didn't work well was because of that. It was the quiet one in there, and it just never showed up enough. And I think if you take the thoughts that go into this and kind of put it into your blocks, it might help you know when to use your quiet pieces and when to use your bold pieces. So Anna Rose explained that there are 3 different, and this, my attempt was to do low volume, and I failed. So it looks like a muddy mess is what it looks like. If I have it on a bedroom in a spare room, if I walk in at the doorway, I can kind of tell it was a log cabin. That's my intent. But as far as if you look up close, it doesn't look like anything but a muddy mess. Some of your blocks, when you use the fabrics that are in your packet, it's kind of hard to choose not to be a muddy mess. Yeah. So Anna Rose breaks it down this way. This is what she puts it in 3 categories. This is a whisper. These, think of it in that terms. This is a whisper. Doesn't have a lot, it just is quiet. It's like that family reunion you go to, as she explains, that you'll have this person kind of sit in the corner and they're quiet and they're smiling and they're happy and everything's good. The next group of fabrics would probably be here. And that is people who have conversations, they're quiet, they're quiet, they're visiting with you and it's pleasant and everything's good. I think that this one probably could fall into conversation pieces. Then these 2. And where I think I missed the mark on this was this. I took it as a light, and what this ends up to be is shouting. It's that person that comes to a family reunion that is gonna let everybody know what's going on in their world. I think that's where I went wrong. And I should not have probably used these. It's kind of interesting because I bought this I think I might have been given this as a tower. And I wasn't being very, I was being kind of lazy. And so I thought, well, everything will just match. And it matches. It just not not the texture that it probably should be for this block, for this kind of a block. So that's where I missed the mark on this. So probably I should have gone at the very beginning, done some what we call whispers, and then maybe moved into conversation, but I should have left the shouts out. Shouldn't have even put them in. So
We're admiring your hand stitched by me.
Thank you. That's a good part about that book. So she talks a lot about in the book, page 90 on this book on page 90. You can get fabrics. You can get fabrics, and you think to yourself, well, as long as it's purple and purple and purple, I should be fine. And it is. But when you get a texture like this, and I'll let you look at my book, and you can kind of see the point of this. You want to kind of pass it around. I'm talking about these two. This texture, and I don't profess to be very tech savvy, so my copying wasn't the best. However, can you see where this is just a lot of printed fabrics? So it gets lost in translation here. These points get lost when you do that. If you just keep using those big textures, big textures, big textures. If you don't, I'll let you pass that around. You can kind of see. If you vary your texture, meaning the makeup of your fabric, not necessarily how that feels, but just that has a lot of depth and movement. If you vary it just enough, so give yourself a small print perhaps. Use a big texture here, and then she used a bigger texture here. Again, she used all violet or purples or violets. She was okay as far as in the use of these, by using a dark, a medium, and a light. But it's just if you use a little more texture, you're going to see the points, you're going to see the block a little bit better. Okay, so then she talks about when you do use, and that's on that, I think it's on the next page of that book, sometimes when you use, so she used the purple and the green. Again, good choice. But the fabric she used, as she explains, the movement is almost equal. So you really just don't see it. It's okay. But it's not, color-wise, it's good. But texture-wise, not so good. You add this texture, thinking, again, using the green with the purple, color's good, but this took over this. So this got too bold. Where it got to be a better situation was this one, because you have the big circles and then the little print behind it, and it just looked and worked better. So when you're picking on your fabrics, kind of think in terms of, first of all, when you look at things put together, how do you feel when you look at it? I, for one, when I look at that one geometric print, this one I really struggle using because I feel like I got to be kind of careful about what I'm going to use it with. I like putting circles with this kind. I like doing circles with this if I'm going to do it. And I love this piece, but I like to use it. I like to take this and use it as a feather by just putting that line in the middle, or just take the line out and just have it look like that. I think it tones it down and brings it down a little bit. So, does that make any sense at all? Okay. So, in what we've been seeing online as far as the blocks, and I don't know who did this block, I can't remember the person, but she took and did all of these as the outside. I think a lot of people have been using them on the inside, or parts of them on the inside. But I think what she did, and it was just pretty cool, I think what she did was she took it and went like so and cut it across. And then used all of that for the outside border on her block. And it looks really, really cool. So don't give up on using the texture in a different way. This is a good texture. This is a great texture when you look at it. Just kind of with those 1/2s. And another thing that was brought up this morning, Nancy Lowe, when she got her back quarters, she cut them all up in 10-inch blocks, 5-inch blocks, and 2.5-inch strips. None of these blocks in this block of the month are going to be anything bigger than 6.5. So if you do your 10-inch, you're going to get 2 10-inch, because we kind of plotted it out this afternoon. 4 5-inch blocks, and then the rest are going to be the 2.5. You won't have to constantly be pulling that, ironing the whole thing, and cutting it. You're going to have most of it what you need right there. Plus you're going to have the variety of those 2 big 10-inch. You can cut off those little pieces. So I think that is kind of a way, if you don't like to mess with the fabric a lot, to kind of have it more available to you. And you pre-cut, you're not having to deal with the whole, not that a back quarter is that big, but that is one way to do it. So, let's see, where am I at on this? Okay. So, we gotta talk about the background. Does anybody have Allison glass? You do? Do you have them with you? Your blocks?
Yeah.
She does?
The ones that we just did?
Yeah.
Yes, some of them.
Yeah, oh good, okay. So one of the, last week when we do have a sew-in, the first Friday of the month, she auditioned a lot of navy blue. And we figured out, do you have your, can you just pile them up here? If you take the Allison glass, yep, and see how that works against that navy. You just cover up my stuff there. But see?
What makes it pop?
Yeah, it really does. So you might think about to put this together, see how that really just pops. It really does. So you might think about, when you start putting this together, you may think about the navy. It really, for some reason on that Allison glass looks really, really good. I'd like you to think also in terms of don't give up on figured fabric. I think it's on page in your tulip book. It's on page 229. Look at this. That's got a texture to it. We do have some that are pretty far along on their blocks. We have one that's got them all done. Camille. Yeah, she's got them all done. She really just started going and had such a good time. So I talked to her a little bit about. I said, "What are you gonna do to put it together?" And she said, "Not yet." So don't give up on. I think the plain looks really good. I think it really accents this really well. And by the way, Linda Brown was one who did the quilting on this. She does a beautiful job on these, on your edges there. And then she just kind of took on this little piece here, and it just really made that work. But this piece right here had a little more texture than I was really expecting. Sonia Graham is going to, let me think now, she's line work, which is the black and white tulip pink. She is going to box her blocks. Well, we really didn't talk about how much black she's going to put around it, but she's going to do that first. So kind of this look. And then she's going to put a stripe, which I think is going to look just stunning. Pinterest, Instagram, any blocks that you can see on there does help you kind of get a feel for how you're going to do that. I think she's going to put a cornerstone in. I think that's probably how that's going to work. It's going to be interesting, but the picture she showed was pretty cool. So, all right. Does anybody have any thoughts as far as yet as far as their blocks, but how you're kind of wanting
I'm just
to.
thinking how I'm gonna get 10 done in a month.
Well, maybe we'll talk later about that. That's maybe that's something for later.
May, you'll be fine.
All right, so let's take some time here and look at each other's block, what you do have. We do have a couple things. There's 3 loan pieces. Nancy Lowe donated. If to anybody who would want these, I believe they are Ruby Star. I think that's who they are. We have 3 long pieces left because they're free to pick up. So just let you know that's there. Let's start looking at some of your blocks and see what you're thinking. Go ahead, Melissa. Let's go. If you just want to lay them out on the table, and everybody can kind of walk around and kind of get a feel.
leave them
Yeah, you can too. Yeah, but everybody just kind of go through the books and kind of look and see what you think. It's good ideas. Plus, it is.
Still doing them in order.
Well, you know, I'm redoing some of them because they were not 6.5.
All right. Let's go
I
through.
redid these two.
Let's
I
see.
gave them a little punch, more
Yeah, I was gonna
punch
say,
color.
can you? And then are these all the blocks that you guys already have more?
Oh, well, this is my January one, but,
Oh, good. Okay.
first one for last, for the.
And then what are these yours?
The last two.
Two last. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They do. I mean, once I get.
I mean, I have January,
but
I should have last month, you still pulled it out.
Yeah, I think it does.
I'm doing cover now. I don't think anybody else is doing cover now.
Everybody just kind of get up and meander around.
Color melt, that one.
And I'm thinking about putting mine together like a heart, with all white background with the heart and
Oh, like the boho heart thing?
So, which block?
Because I'm struggling with this map, and I really like that block.
And I'm not so sure.
Love her
this
colors.
block doesn't present this way.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause I
But see, this one looks crooked, and I think it's this material.
there are some that.
See, I don't see it looking
better.
crooked.
I mean, like, this looks like it's,
And that's just my.
No,
my
that's
vibe.
what
but Jan said, like, she
I think
measured it.
that.
But
I
I
don't
think it's
think-
because it's like, you know, it's,
But I don't think it looks crooked. See, because it's your block, so
I
you're
know,
picking
I
on
know,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
picky. Yeah, it looks
Somebody made
funky
that
to me, but
today. That was-
What are you using to make sure they're 6.5 inches? Are you using a square?
Yeah.
well,
Straight ruler?
Oh, no.
no, I just,
It's
Oh.
this is the top.
Oh, yeah.
Remember again, she does this every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the big piece.
trimming,
That's,
that's how I ended up in trouble.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, it is, I thought that, yeah, okay, all right.
And
I'm
those
with
are
you.
the little ones, and that's the little.
So what's that?
It's, well, it's line works, and I have some.
Oh, you have your own, oh, yeah,
I have some
okay.
other
Okay.
Tula that I'm adding.
So next month, we're gonna talk about Hasbro triangles, and we're gonna do a couple so that we can kind of get that under our belt, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.
So I'm